I've always made art, and my first studio space really was my bed when I was a little girl, and I would draw or paint or sitting on my bed, and then it gets, you get older and it's not so comfortable to be working on your bed. But I think that I'm always trying to get that feeling back that I had when, I'm sitting there with all my stuff and my room's a mess. And, I even did that when I was oil painting. I started oil painting in my bedroom, and it was awful when I think back to the fumes. But I'd have it set up beside my bed, and I'd paint there, and then I'd just put everything down and get into my bed and fall asleep. Just terrible. But it was great too. I loved that. I had this trolley for many years too. My mom used to work at a kitchen store, and she got it for me. And I keep my can of brushes on it here, my big brushes, and a lot of my solvents, and my suitcase of paint that I've had since I went to university. Well, this door I got in Amherst, and it's great because when the boys come home from school, there's a little bell on it that they ring, and it's a nice sound. They're always interrupting me. I'm always like, oh no, they're home, but the sound is so nice. So if it was a buzzer, it would be really annoying. But anyway, yeah, it works out well. It's been a good door because it lets light in, but then people can't see in. I don't have a very big palette because they're just harder to clean. But yeah, I don't know. This seems to work well for me, this setup. I usually have some paint along the side here, and these are some of my cups. I was trying to mix New Brunswick dirt color. So they look kind of fleshy too, but anyway. All I use when I paint really are brushes and rags. Yeah, I don't use anything fancy. A friend of mine gave me this little scraper thing. I'm going to try it out sometime, but I haven't yet. This is big experimentation for me, little plastic thing. I often have a finished painting around. As I finish them, I'll leave them up on the wall, just because I think when I do my work, I think of it as a body of work. And it's a show, so I have to I like to see the other components of the show as I work on new work. I'm doing these little, I don't know, I just started doing these little, cutting out these drawings, and I think this next painting has started as a collage in some way. But it's different all the time. I've never really started a painting that way. I stay really open to, even though I'm very limited in that I only oil paint, and right now I'm only oil painting on canvas. In other ways, I'm really open. I have a wall of stuff, and a lot of it, usually what ends up on the wall are images that I'm interested in, but a lot of the time they are, it's work that doesn't look like my work, like it's something different and my work doesn't usually end up looking like any of the images on the wall, but they're just things that have interested me and that I guess I draw from in some way. I usually come in, put on my music, put on my apron, and I usually sit here for a while. It's not a very comfortable space. Like when I come in to work, I don't read or I don't do a lot of writing unless it pertains to the painting that I'm working on at the time. It's a workspace. I don't have any really comfy chairs, but I know a lot of people do. I think about it. But also, there are a lot of fumes in the studio when I work, and I don't want to be in here too long. I don't come in to relax. I just do the work and get out. I listen to Nick Cave all the time. And Nick Cave and PJ Harvey are my favorites. And I've got Herman Dune here, Gladys Knight and the Pips, but I haven't been listening to that too much lately. But usually when I'm working, I'll often I'll end up listening to one CD over and over while I'm painting. And there'll be like a CD that kind of corresponds with the painting that I end up listening to again and again as I finish it. And sometimes I get down to one song, so then that's usually at the end of a painting. I'll just listen to the song over and over and over. Anyway, it hurries me along too, because I get sick of listening to it, but it's kind of necessary to finish the work. Music is like the ultimate art form, and painting is, when I'm painting, it's a quiet, private thing that I do. I like working alone. Some people like the energy they get from working in a studio environment with other people, but I like working alone. And but at the same time, I think of my work as entertainment at some level. Like I want the viewer to be entertained, because I like to be entertained. And I think when you're working on your own, I think painting or listening to music kind of takes me into a public realm, maybe, or reminds me that there's an audience, or it kind of takes me outside of myself a bit. And I think that's one reason. Also, I like writing, and usually the people that I listen to are writers too. And I think I have a connection to that music as well, like Nick Cave or PJ Harvey or the local guys like Shotgun Jimmy. But paintings that to me are part of my practice, but they never get done. They're just in my mind. I don't paint every painting that I think of, and I've learned to just, in order to keep my practice moving along, I have to just let some ideas go. I've never had the problem of not knowing what to paint, or coming to the studio and I have too many ideas. I'm really good at letting go of it. It's just, once it's outside of my studio, and if it's not coming back, it's done. The work's done, and my connection to it is, for me, it's severed, because the most important painting for me is the one that I'm working on at the time. So I don't, I'm glad that I've had opportunities to show my work, and I think the viewer's important in the life of that work. If there were no viewers, there's, the life of that painting is over, But as far as like any reaction to them, they're gone. I'm focused on the one painting that's in front of me at my studio at that time, and the other ones are separate. My studio is a private space, and I love it when I go to another artist's house, and like for dinner, and they have you know, they show you their studio. I love it. It's great, you know, but I never do that. It's really private. Partially too because I don't think of the work as being finished until the whole body of work is done. And then afterwards, I think like each painting can stand on its own. But for me, making the work, I don't want input on one painting because it exists in this larger group. And it's more, I think sometimes I think of them as like scenes or sets in a play, or, you know, and it's important for me while I'm making them to have them, to think of them as a whole. And then I let them go and their individual paintings and whatever. But to have someone come in and look at just one or two is really hard for me. I don't like that. I think when I was at school, they're always telling you not to overwork things and to be, you know, open to the idea that a work can be very quick but I like to, well, I don't know. For different paintings, I'll take different approaches. Sometimes I know the painting's going to be one that I want to overwork it. I want it to be messy and I want it to be complicated, and it's just going to be that kind of a painting. And that's kind of great because you don't have to put the brakes on, you know, you just go, go, go. Everything they told you not to do at school, you do it. and I like those paintings a lot. Recently, I found a picture of myself when I was a little girl painting, and I think that's the feeling I'm trying to get back. And I like to keep it in my drawer, and I look at it every now and then, and I think of the enjoyment I had when I made work when I was young, and you know, it's harder when you get older, I think, to get that fluidity between your ideas and what you end up making. And I think I had that when I was young, and I'm always trying to get that feeling back, you know.